Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all listen. Let's talk about Iyanla's The Inside Fix, right? These are just some quick thoughts. So, I watched the first episode of Iyanla The Inside Fix, and it was okay. It's a rewatch of a past episode, and she'll stop the video every now and then and point some things out and elaborate on some things with a compare and contrast of how things were then and how different some things are now in the way folks may, look at certain things or how they may handle them. So the first episode was a rewatch of The Six Brown Chicks. So that is from season 1, episode 5. So the two things that stood out to me during this rewatch is when Kayanne apologized to Zandra. I always felt like Kayanne was the one who got the most out of the experience. I love how she was able to recognize that no one could heal her but her. It wasn't going to be Zandra or any of the other ladies in the group. It would have to start with her. Like, I love how she was able to recognize that she came into the group broken because she never had any positive relationships with women, and that's per her own words, and that she didn't trust many women. So when Zandra removed her blog post without talking to her before before it happened or explaining why she did what she did, that was a trigger for Kayanne, which almost made Zandra come off as an example of why she didn't trust women. So that fed into, like what she already believed, what she already had in her mind. And she said that she came to the table thinking that the Six Brown Chicks was going to fix her or the things she'd been carrying, and they'll be able to lift that load. And when that didn't happen, she broke down because Zandra didn't fix something. And she explained to Zandra that it wasn't her fault. Like, it's not your fault, Zandra. She was just trying to explain to her why it had such a huge effect on her. She said she put too much outward instead of fixing herself and believing in herself. And that's sort of like, for Fix My Life, that was the whole message. I'm here to help you do your work. I'm here to help you do the work. And I just feel like Kayanne, she is the one who got the most out of it. That's just how I feel, especially by watching, rewatching the episode. And when it came to Dr. Dodge, rest in peace to her, that was a very emotional scene because you can tell that she was trying to be strong. Even when Iyanla was trying to get her to stand up, she was resisting. She refused to look Iyanla in the eyes. She would look everywhere else but in her eyes. And then eventually, she closed her eyes. Because remember, earlier in the original episode, Iyanla asked her, what would it take for you to just let your heart break? And I felt like her not letting her heart break and her avoiding eye contact was her way of keeping what she knew to be real from actually feeling real. She was trying to hold on to normalcy in whatever way she could, even if that was just in memory. And I know for a lot of people, they feel like grief starts once the person passes away, but most often, as soon as you realize that future that you once thought you were going to have, once you see it start disappearing, or you hear the words, there's nothing more we can do, or we can keep them comfortable, grief has already started finding a place to settle inside of you. And when you don't allow your heart to break, grief hardens, and it'll change you even through all of your I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm staying busy. You can start to project. You may lash out at people, become bitter, you feel stuck or like numb. And if you notice in that scene, Miss Iyanla says, I don't care how badly you behave or how cold you are, I'm not gonna leave you. It's a choice for you to suffer or trust me. Then eventually you saw Dr. Dodge, she breaks down. At that point, it's like you're operating in anticipatory grief, and it has lots of layers to it. You try to hold on to what was familiar and normal. You get extra busy to stay strong, but even then that sadness will try to creep up on you, but you'll control it. You'll suppress it. You may say something like, nope, I can't do that because if I break down, I just might not get back up. And in all of that being strong, you may hear the person say that they don't feel like themselves anymore. And that's because on the outside they appear strong, but on the inside they are exhausted. They're tired. They're grieving. And what most people are trying to avoid is going from grieving to mourning, because mourning happens when the person is no longer here, and that's when people really get to see your pain. You go from wife to widow, or from praying for healing to memorials and memories. Grief is internal and mourning is external. So like when my grandma started showing signs of dementia and it progressed, I had already accepted the fact that the grandma I knew was no longer there, that it would never, like it'll never be the same. So when that time came, I was at peace. I didn't cry, I didn't break down, because I had already let my heart break. So when my mama called and said that my grandma told her, "I'm tired, baby," and she was like, "Mama, it's okay. You can go. We're gonna be all right." And the next thing she said, when she looked around, she had took her last breath, and my mama just closed her eyes for her. And then, it's like an exhale, because I knew that she was at rest. But grief is different for everybody. How you handle it, how it'll hit you, it's all different. Even the waves. Some bouts of grief come longer and stronger than others. So you just have to be gentle with yourself. Try not to be too hard on yourself. And if you have to allow your heart to break, do it. Because sometimes that's healthy for you, because you're getting that out of your system instead of trying to hold everything in and eventually making yourself sick. So like the most important thing is to not let it debilitate you, if you get what I'm saying. So that was my little quick thoughts on the first episode of Iyanla, the Inside Fix. So y'all get down in the comments, let me know if you watched it, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later.